The vile town of Hartlepool. What did you know about Hartlepool? The answer you would get depends on whom you ask. Oftentimes, we see what we choose to see even when there are clear shreds of evidence pointing to a different object. In the same vein, we hear what we choose to hear even though many facts are being drummed into our eardrums. That's the situation with the seaside town of Hartlepool. It has received bad publicity in the past and is still receiving it. The situations that the town are being mauled for have not changed remarkably. If at all, it's for the worse. Today, our video will objectively look at the vile town of Hartlepool and leave you to do the judging. Hartlepool in brief. There may be some among us who do not know much about Hartlepool. Of course, that's not a big deal. It is not such a popular city as Manchester, Liverpool or Newcastle. Hartlepool is a small seaside and port town in County Durham in England. For the purpose of administration, it is under a unitary authority borough named Hartlepool, which is also in charge of the civil parishes of Hart, Dalton, Piercy, Elwick and Gratham. Hartlepool Borough has an estimated population of 87,995, and this makes it the second largest settlement in County Durham, Darlington being the largest. It is located on the coast and is not that far from the countryside. When it was founded in the 7th century, the old town was around the monastery of Hartlepool Abbey as a small village. In the Middle Ages, the village started growing and became a town. In 1885, the town known as West Hartlepool was created. This followed the building of a new port and railway links. One was from the South Durham coalfields to the north, while the other was from Stockton-on-Tees to the south. That's why it's said that Hartlepool used to be two towns. The ancient Old Hartlepool, known as Headland, the fishing village was joined to the more recent West Hartlepool in 1967. Thus, the S after the name Hartlepools was dropped so that the single town could be known as Hartlepool. The town was once benefiting from industrialisation in northern England. In the late 19th century, the start of the shipbuilding industry prospered the town. Historically, Hartlepool started on a great development stride that should have made it one of the best seaside resorts. However, what we see today in the town is a far cry from its potential. In the interest of PR, modern-day terrible realities of the town may be toned down, while Hartlepool promoters may overstate and embellish what they want you to see. Honestly, that's not bad, if done with sincerity. That's part of being positive, anyway. Nevertheless, you have the opportunity in the comment section to express your opinion about Hartlepool being a vile town. The reality of Hartlepool today. The prospect of economic greatness of this town was cut short by the First World War. On December 16, 1914, a bombardment of 1,150 shells resulted in the death of 117 residents of the town. As if that was not bad enough, the efforts to rebuild the city were truncated by bombings and shelling during the Second World War. This led to a severe decline in heavy industry and a great setback for shipbuilding. The resulting unemployment remained high until the 1990s, when the area saw some major investment projects and redevelopment of its dock areas. Yet, these could not provide lasting economic succour, as there are other challenges. Consider also the 4th of January 1922 timber yard fire. The inferno gulped a lot of homes, leaving at least 80 people homeless. When their destruction was quantified, it was worth more than £1 million. And don't forget that this occurred just after the First World War, when efforts towards reconstruction were just starting to gain momentum. The town was wallowing in this objection when the Great Depression of the 1930s set in. The high unemployment this caused is still being felt in the town up until now, in spite of all the efforts to reverse the ugly trend. While the town was moving towards regeneration, the Second World War broke out and cleared the rubbles left behind by the First World War, Inferno, and Great Depression. The last ship to be constructed in the town, Blanchland, left the slips in 1961. This defined the severe decline of the industry and its end. For example, the British Steel Corporation announced the closure of its Hartlepool Steelworks in 1977. Over 1,500 jobs went down with that announcement. At its peak, some 30% of the labour force of the town became unemployed. This was the highest rate ever in the UK. In 1983, 630 jobs at British Steel ended. A total of 10,000 jobs were cut off as a result of economic deindustrialisation. Unemployment rate in Hartlepool. In 2020, the population of labour force in Hartlepool was 57,779, making about 62% of the total population. As you bear that in mind, let's go to the year 2022. That year, about 91.9% of the labour market was listed as employed. How does that compare nationally? That is below the 94.8% average rate for England. Even those employed in the town are among the lowest paid employees in England. Hartlepool is listed among the local authorities with the highest rate of unemployment in the UK. Guess you no longer need to be told what could be responsible for that, do you? We can only add that to the bad picture of the economy of Hartlepool. Figures published by the Office of National Statistics, ONS, will be informative here. In 2020, the gross domestic product, GDP, in the town was about £1.8 billion. The economic growth between 2019 and 2020 in Hartlepool was 1.9%. To put all that in perspective, the GDP value represented just 0.1% of the economy of England. Out of the 59 unitary authorities in England, Hartlepool ranks 57th best for the economy. This is also understandable. In 2022, UK Business Court data as released by the ONS indicated that there are just 10 large businesses in Hartlepool. That's about 0.5% of the total large businesses in England. According to the data, a business is described as large if it has over 250 employees. In Hartlepool, there are 40 medium-sized businesses. These are businesses with a staff strength of 50 to 259. As for the small businesses with capacity to employ less than 50 workers, the town has 205 of these. Can you see why unemployment is as high as 8.1%, 3% higher than the average for England as a whole? Poverty and deprivation in Hartlepool. There is no gainsaying the fact that the high unemployment rate automatically breeds poverty in Hartlepool. No wonder the town has in recent times been described as the third worst for child poverty in the northeast. 1 in every 4 children in the town is living below the breadline, living in poverty. Looking also at the 2021 Index of Multiple Deprivation, IMD, only confirms this assertion. In Hartlepool, 36% of neighbourhoods are among the most deprived in England. In the 2015 IMD figure, before the latest one, 33% of neighbourhoods were deprived. This means that the town has become more deprived in the past 4 years. Crime in Hartlepool. It's a general belief that where there's a high rate of unemployment and poverty, crime thrives. That's what is currently playing out in Hartlepool. This is currently the second most dangerous town in Durham. Out of 169 villages, towns and cities in Durham, it is among the top 20 most dangerous. In 2022, the overall crime rate in Hartlepool was 142 crimes per 1,000 residents. Compare that to Durham's overall crime rate of 97 per 1,000 residents. The rate in Hartlepool is 46% higher than in Durham. For the whole of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, Hartlepool is also among the top 20 most dangerous towns. Take October 2022 as a sample month. Hartlepool had Durham's worst crime rate for burglary, reporting 83 crimes in that month. Also, the town reported 147 cases of criminal damage and arson that month. In July 2022, it saw 48 cases of drugs, the worst for Durham in that month. The current crime rate in Hartlepool is 73% higher than the rate in North East and 72% higher than the overall rates for England, Wales and Northern Ireland. In 2022, the most common crimes in this town were violence and sexual offences, with a combined total of 5,523. Conclusively, we can say that the vile town of Hartlepool is a victim of its own development. We know that you have something to add to this conversation. Please, let us have your comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.